Hello, gorgeous Gemini family. Welcome to December 2019. A really powerful and impactful time for Geminis, regardless of the year and the transits that are going on. December has a really interesting place in your energetic map throughout the year because we start off the month in Sagittarius, your oppositional sign, and so we get a lot of hits of energy when it comes to how you see yourself and how you connect to relationship and how you relate to yourself. And I always affectionately nickname the sun being in your opposite sign as mirror season, because it's like this really crisp, bright mirror that helps you see yourself and your legacy and who you're becoming and how you love and how you connect and how you communicate in new ways. And that can be kind of truth bringing and truth telling. But then of course the sun moves into Capricorn and a lot of energy starts to pour into Capricorn, and that's your 8th house of transformation. And that always takes us to a really deep place. It connects us in and it taps us in with our hidden power, with our hidden selves, with death and transformation and the taboo topics. But often how that plays out is that's one of our secret powers, and it's often the one that we repress the most or we put to the side. Now, Capricorn being your 8th house energy, especially if you're a Gemini rising, this is going to be your house placement. There's been a lot going on in Capricorn, and there's been a lot revolutionizing from behind the scenes for Geminis in general. But it doesn't stop, because while we still have the south node of the moon in Capricorn, we still have Saturn and Pluto working in Capricorn. We also have Jupiter moving over to Capricorn in December. On December 2nd, Jupiter will be making the transition from Sagittarius, where it's been illuminating your relationship sector and that whole mirror energy that's been very positive for you in many ways, into your 8th house. So you are going to be getting blessings from your shadow self. You are going to be getting blessings from the unseen, hidden world. And it does mean that you are tapping more into the spooky, the occult is one way you can think about it. But it's tapping into the hidden wisdom that is ingrained in that deeper, darker part of yourself. And so this coming year is going to have a theme for Geminis of not relying on your external, bubbly, communicative, networking energy, where you feel like you are facilitating. It's going to have you focusing much more on these root chakra energies, these deeper, darker, more mysterious energies that have a bit of a different texture. And so you may be noticing that where you're getting called, where you're getting pulled is a little different than it has been in recent years. So we have that Jupiter moving into Capricorn. If you are interested in learning more about what that's doing for us, my Patreon, that is where I have my discussion, and I'm going to be doing a lot more a year ahead discussions for 2020. So join me, if you will, over on Patreon if you're interested in those extras and in sitting with me and really learning more about transits. That's a great resource. Thank you to those who have joined me. But moving on here, also your ruling planet is finally leaving the post-shadow phase of that Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. And so that's we're starting to have this directional energy moving forward as we go through the month. We have a full moon in your sign, illuminating who you're becoming next, illuminating your path moving forward. And I think there's a really deep clarity that comes with that Gemini full moon on December 12th of understanding why you've had to change the way you've had to change over the last year. You know, sometimes when we're in the middle of the storm, 10 of Wands, we don't totally understand all these pieces of experience that are coming in. We don't understand exactly how this is all going to play out, right? But that full moon, King of Wands, all right. That full moon really can sometimes help illuminate why and how those messages and those experiences and those shifts have taken place, and to help you kind of put it all together. Knight of Wands. Wow, you're getting all the wands, gems. It is Sagittarius season for most of the month. So that full moon is going to be very powerful. Of course, Venus and Saturn are also conjunct in Capricorn right around that full moon. So there's a lot of energy going on here as well, just in that 8th house of transformation. How you love and value isn't always about the external. And this year, you're really going to be noticing 2 of Wands. All the wands. So much visionary energy here in these cards. So the thing I'll say about wands, it's not always about just the element. Yes, fire energy. Maybe you have fire energy all around you. You know, I know a lot of gems are very close to fire energies, Aries and Leo and Sag. Those are all energies that you commune well with, but fire is a visionary, creative energy. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, change in tone here. So there's a visionary aspect to all of this. But as we move through this month and as that Capricorn energy amplifies, Emperor, you're going to be noticing that call to listen to those deeper, more mysterious parts of yourself. A great time to read, great time to journal, great time to go deep, investigate these deeper, darker parts of yourselves. I already know you enjoy doing that, Gems, but this is just kind of the moon. Yeah, this is kind of an invitation, a full-scale invitation for you all to dive really deep in there, because we also have a new moon eclipse in Capricorn on the 26th. And that's that solar eclipse energy that really it's transformational. So it's a double whammy, because not only is it an eclipse, but it's in your 8th house, and it's in a sign that you have a really interesting relationship to, Capricorn. And so all of this energy is working together. You can see how powerful it is. All the things that are going on in Capricorn. 3 of Pentacles. That's been coming up a lot. There's a lot of cooperation in December. There's a lot of connecting of people and connecting of ideas and things starting to work and flow. And that's going to be really refreshing, because October, November weren't so much about connecting as much as resetting and going deep with that Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. But so you have all this energy pouring into your hidden taboo transformation house. And rather than thinking about that as like a scary time ahead, 2020 is going to be a really interesting year for you when it comes to this 8th house, when it comes to your relationship to Capricorn. It's something to pay attention to. I think it takes the pressure off your external self, and it puts this really warm, loving energy into these deeper parts of yourself. So let's go through these cards, because I think sometimes when we let ourselves listen to those deeper, richer, ooey gooey voices that are a little bit more primordial, they're a little bit more mysterious, they give us direction, they give us insight, but not necessarily, they almost can speak in kind of riddle. It's like, go here and do this, but you're like, why? How does that fit into the rest of this dynamic? How does that fit into the rest of what I'm doing, right? And we kind of have to learn to trust into it, but it can give us some of the best nuggets of wisdom. And what it's doing for you, that's the fuel for this visionary energy I'm seeing. Let's first start with this 10 of Wands, though, because while December is about forward motion, it really is. The planets are moving forward. There's a lot of shift into this like kind of building, creating, revolutionary energy where things are moving. Things are getting on their way. That engine's going. But one of the things that is happening with that is that December is also a time of assessment where if you're carrying around projects, relationships, ideas of self, routines that aren't serving you, they are going to get really highlighted, and they might get quite loud and in your face. And this 10 of Wands is always an invitation to, what are you carrying that's not serving you anymore? And what are you carrying around that's almost isolating you or keeping you held captive a little bit? This 10 of Wands is saying there's a close out there. So you may be noticing there's a shift, because you need space. You need space to invite all this in. All this Wands energy in that is so powerful and so vibrant and so focused on the future. You look at all 3 of these characters. They have their eyes set on this horizon. They're not moving their gaze. They are set on it. And they each do it in a different way. But there's this kind of sense of creative initiation. Now, of course, maybe you do have fire energy around you and you're connecting with that fire energy and recalibrating how you're connecting with it and how it's working for you. Maybe you have passionate connection with fire energy. King of Wands, Knight of Wands energy is very fun and passionate, very good for Gems. But the way that I see this too is these are cards of self-empowerment when it comes to your creative journey and what you want to create. You have a goal. You have something you want to create. You have something in your soul that is tied to you in such a deep way, and you want to bring it out. And the King of Wands is about self-actualization, owning your space, owning your quite literal space. This is a very paternal energy. It's very much like the big father energy that owns his space and knows what he wants and knows how to ask for it. There's a focus here. The Knight of Wands is that drive to just dive in and do it and go for it, not overthinking it, not overanalyzing it, just going with that natural ease. And the Two of Wands is the imagination part of it, where you allow yourself to open up your imaginative core to the possibilities ahead, rather than maybe shutting down from things that maybe you think are out of your reach, or maybe you're just not allowed to ask for. There's a really deep message going on there about that, and my computer is doing something weird, so let me close that out. Okay, perfect. So there's an opening, a hopefulness that comes with this energy, and it's really important to pay attention to it, because the Two of Wands is an invitational just as much as Ten of Wands is an invitational. Ten of Wands is the invitational to put something down. Two of Wands is the invitational to pick something up. And that's all surrounding this Knight and this King. But once again, there's no looking back. There's really no such thing as doing things in the old way. And December is not a catalyst, but a lens through which we are understanding more deeply than ever that is true. That where we were a year ago, where we were even 6 months ago, the last eclipse season, we're not there anymore. We're somewhere new. We're doing things in a new way. And that can sometimes kind of hit where it's like your sense of home, your sense of grounding, your sense of who you are, and your reference points can get scrambled or shaken up a little bit. And because you are now being asked to tap in so deeply to this primordial wisdom in your deep bones, you may find you're a little uncomfortable with that being your navigation system. And so take your time. Now that's where it's really interesting, because that idea of intentionality, that idea of not acting quickly, but like really focusing on what it is that is working for you, what it is you want to develop, what it is you want to harness, continues to be a theme here. Because, you look at Knight of Pentacles and Emperor, and what I see there are two figures who sit absolutely still. They value their resources and their energy so highly. They would not expend it on anything that isn't working, that isn't part of their investment of self. And that's one of the big themes with Jupiter moving into Capricorn. It's this idea of really committing and harnessing your energy and making sure that you are using your energy in ways that reflect what's really true for you. Not just to make other people comfortable, not just to make your ego voice comfortable, but what is really true for you? Where are you really wanting to put investment? The King of Wands and the Emperor are kind of related here too. These are both that fire sign father, paternal energy, the patriarch of the family, which doesn't have to always be a bad thing. I know we're in an era where we're redefining what that means. And the Emperor is about masculine leadership, taking that space and being unapologetic about taking it, but he's also visionary. In order to be a leader, in order to sit in that seat, he has to have his eye on what it is he wants to experience and conquer. And similarly, not similarly, in addition, this Knight of Pentacles never makes a move unless he feels that investment is worthwhile. These are very steadfast energies. And that's what's so interesting with you, is that there is kind of like a slowness, but it's that quality energy where it's like, this is about the quality of where you're putting your energy and your voice. And it comes from the motor behind all of this, the motor behind all of this passionate external energy that is very much about making and building and growing and going for it and taking leaps of faith. It's amazing, is the moon. The hidden, the unseen, the secret. And the moon can feel intimidating sometimes when we're asked to find our fuel and our answers from this space. It doesn't mean you are now going to be living, like December is just going to be a month of you just having to hibernate and hide and like sit at home and wait for more answers. it does mean that this is where you're going to go every time you want to get the fuel and the answers, and that it doesn't work the other way around. You don't get the fuel and the answers and then you tap into your primordial, deep, ancient voice. You regularly, consistently tap into your ancient voice, and then you get all of this forward expansive motion that's all about the vision. And there's a lot of opportunity in these cards. I mean, a lot of opportunity. And the main thing that I'm seeing here is that you are connecting with people, with places that work for you, that help you move forward in the world. But here's the other part of this, gems. The people you connect with. If you want to have these meaningful connections, whether in love or in partnership in creative ventures, in where you're investing your energy moving forward in this new year, they can only come in if you're not playing all the roles that you feel you need to play. If you release some of that pressure you put on yourself to be all these different roles, all these different versions of yourself, this is a time to let that go a little bit and to lean more into this mystical, mysterious space in yourself. I have a few affirmations for this process and how to work with it and how to trust into it, because rather than diminishing your shine, it's going to actually help you step into leadership and help you step into more vocal and more active spaces. These are very active cards in this reading, and they're quite productive and they're quite expansive, and there's a lot of positivity in your reading, an amazing amount of positivity. And it really does hinge on listening in to this 8th house magic. So here are your affirmations. I sit still and allow new visions to awaken from deep within my core. I trust and nurture the darker parts of myself and allow them to give me their wisdom. I accept myself as I am today and embrace who I am becoming. You're changing shape. You're changing shape. You might have had a roadmap of who you're going to be earlier this year, what you were going to accomplish. So you've been easing slowly into this new phase, and you are in a transformative cycle where what you thought was who you're going to be is no longer the case. And now you're working with new tools. And that does take faith, and that does take trust, and it takes a certain level of kind of that feeling of blind faith, falling and hoping there's a net to catch you, right? Jump and the net will appear kind of logic going on here, and that's for sure something that's coming up. But what I see here in these cards is a visionary, is a strong, empowered person who can see what they want to bring to the world and can see with clarity, with that eagle eye crispness, what it is they are bringing to the table. And I really feel that for you all. What a powerful reading. I'm really excited to see the Gemini transformation and the journey ahead for you, because what I'm seeing here is really beautiful, really full of meaning, really full of depth. While mysterious, so good for you. After times, I think, of tumult and uncertainty, there is kind of this sense of the storm clouds parting and there being a greater certainty of who you are and where you're going, even if you don't have all the answers quite yet. So like I said, you can join me on Patreon if you're looking for more information about what the year ahead is going to be and some of these transits we are working with and how to think about them, and also just get resources for the weekly astrology and what's ahead on that. So I'd love to see you over there. You can also find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I'd love to see you on my Instagram and join me on the journey there. And of course, I will be opening up my 2020 calendar for one-on-one readings. I haven't done that yet, but if you want to get notified when that calendar opens, I would suggest sending me an email. I'll get you onto the email list for that 2020 calendar opening so that you will know right away. You can find all the links in the description box for all the ways to find me on the internet. You can also find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry, as always, on her beautiful Etsy shop. She's working on some new amazing handmade pieces that are just blowing my mind. So if you have been curious about PinkLune and you want to know what Tiffany's been up to, go check out her Etsy shop. Also in the description box, I'll leave all of that info there. I will see you all for the Moon Magics. I'm excited to get into the eclipse season and what we're going to be doing there. And of course, joining me in 2020 and the big adventure ahead there. So I'm so excited. I'm sending you all my love. Have a beautiful December. Take such good care of yourselves, and I'll see you so soon.